Hi, I'm Frank Radice, and we're here at Definition 6 with the Def 6 Coffee Break. We're talking with Mark Emery, who is the Vice President of the digital agency here. So for a long time, PC-based web design would give me access into something through a URL.
Correct.
Now, it seems that the URL is being completely supplanted, or in a majority of ways, certainly through mobile and handheld devices, through apps, which in some cases are just the front page to a URL. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing a move towards an all-app environment?
No, I would actually argue that the days of app-first mobile are thankfully, mercifully, coming to a quick end. I think for certain businesses it still makes sense, but for most others who would normally be contemplating an app, say 3 or 4 years ago, a responsive approach to mobile makes a whole lot more sense. The reality is mobile internet usage dominates over app usage in terms of overall audience size. Certainly there are applications that have a high degree of usage and a great degree of loyalty, but for most organizations, an app doesn't really make as much sense as a well-designed, responsive mobile site.
What do you mean by responsive?
I mean a website that is developed and designed to work and behave differently, optimally, depending on the size of a browser window.
So how does that work on a phone?
So, for example, if you were to take a step back and say, I, as an organization, want to develop a responsive website that works beautifully across a spectrum of PCs as well as tablets and smartphones, it would mean that the fundamental behavior, layout, design of the website is different on a large screen, a medium-sized screen like a tablet, or a smartphone.
So people think that just because they've got a responsive site that they automatically have something that will work on a phone. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
To a degree, yes. I mean, certainly by developing and designing responsively, you're more apt to create a site that is at least elegant and looks nice on a mobile device. That said, in many scenarios, companies should look at the mobile device as an entirely separate use case. So a good example might be a restaurant. If I'm looking at a restaurant website on my computer, chances are I may want to be looking at the menu, reading about prices, reviews, whereas on a mobile device, if I'm looking at a restaurant website, chances are I'm probably trying to find a location. So rather than take a one-size-fits-all in terms of most likely use cases, it's helpful to design around that for mobile. So in the case of a smartphone user, for example, for the restaurant, it would be good to present them with that as the first scenario rather than, say, a menu or the larger website.
I also imagine that utilization of other applications that are always on, for example, like a GPS or something like that, gets built into these websites to make them, in fact, more responsive.
Yeah, that's true. And when we were talking about why I think apps they won't disappear, certainly that's not the case, but why popularity for responsibly designed mobile sites may soon eclipse that of applications is because we're able to develop mobile experiences for the mobile web that are as robust as apps were years ago, including integration with GPS.
So should there be a different thought process attached to the user experience on a tablet than, say, on a mobile phone?
I think that effective tablet design is a great place to start in digital generally. So, there's typically been two schools of thought when it comes to digital design. One is that I take my desktop site and continually pare it down to a tablet and then down into a smartphone format. And the other one is to go the reverse direction, so design for a smartphone and then continually add on functionality and design elements to get to a larger screen. I think the tablet is a good middle ground, and what that does is force the designer, force the marketer to contemplate an experience that on a reasonably sized screen, a mid-sized screen, so it has to be beautiful, it has to have a lot of content, it can't be just pared down, and it also has to be touch optimized. So not only is it suitable then to be extended into the desktop realm, it's also a good candidate already to be shrunken, if you will, for a smartphone.
This has been another edition of the Def 6 Coffee Break. See you next time.